My name is Nicole Askins, MPH student at Walden University School of Public Health. Today, I'd like to talk to parents of young children as well as pregnant women about the growing threat of whooping cough in the United States to unvaccinated children. And I hope after this message, you'll be encouraged to vaccinate yourselves by getting booster shots or vaccinations, and make sure that you maintain the schedule of your child's vaccination to stop the growing threat of this highly infectious disease. Now, what is whooping cough, you ask? Here's a simple definition by the Mayo Clinic. According to the Mayo Clinic, whooping cough is a highly contagious bacterial infection of the respiratory tract that can easily be prevented by vaccination. Simple enough, right? Specifically, the vaccination is called Tdap. That's for tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis. Now, let's describe the target population. The people at most risk for death or disability due to getting or being exposed to this bacterial infection are infants under 12 months of age. Infants that are born without maternal antibodies because pregnant women have gotten the vaccination during their third trimester are more at risk for contracting the virus because their tiny airways simply are not developed enough yet to withstand the strain of the persistent cough caused by pertussis. 5 to 15 babies per 1,000 live births die each year from whooping cough in the United States. Although pertussis, or whooping cough, occurs worldwide, the state of California experienced a recent uptick in whooping cough cases in 2014. And although people of all ages can get whooping cough, children, again, to their much smaller airways and respiratory tracts that aren't developed yet, are most at risk for more severe illness. In fact, in 2018, about 50% of infants who contracted whooping cough had to be hospitalized for treatment. Listen to the sound of a whooping cough.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
You hear that? That whooping sound is the sound that the airway makes when it's trying to rebound from the persistent cough. These are the signs specifically. Intense fits of coughing. These intense fits of coughing are punctuated with the whooping sound that you hear when an individual is coughing and trying to catch their breath in between coughing fits. This is usually due to the fact that the lungs are so exhausted from constant persistent coughing that it's trying to relax and rebound, and you hear that deep inhalation. Whooping cough and the consequences thereof also start to exhaust the vocal cords and the bronchial tubes. You can describe it also as a squeaky wheezing or high-pitched inhalation sound in between very severe coughing spells. So some of the more mild symptoms are as follows. Whooping cough starts off with symptoms of a mild cold with a mild low-grade fever. It persists for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, and then more severe symptoms occur. Now, more severe symptoms of pertussis are vomiting in between coughing spells. It gets more severe within that 2-week period. There may be no fever, but there's such a strain on the body and the respiratory tract. Placement of a breathing tube and or other medications to give palliative care and to help the individual relax their respiratory system. So let's first discuss the trends in whooping cough. In the state of California, whooping cough is on the rise. During January 1st to November 26th of 2014, a total of 9,935 cases were identified alone, of which 6,700 mothers who reported their vaccination records, of which only 35 actually reported having the Tdap vaccination during the third trimester of their pregnancy. Also, Hispanic infants have the highest incidences of pertussis in the state of California. It is easily spread through contact with contaminated droplets of an infected person, through coughing or sneezing. Unfortunately, for unvaccinated infants, the consequences are most severe. So, what about preventing whooping cough? Preventing whooping cough is simple. The tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccination and routine booster shots for adults and children on schedule help to protect unvaccinated infants from pertussis and severe illness. Additionally, making sure that infants receive all vaccinations on time, that is at 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 15 to 18 months, and then 4 years. It's also recommended that pregnant women receive the vaccination in their third trimester of pregnancy. This helps to produce antibodies for the mom, as well as pass on those antibodies to their unborn child. So whooping cough is not a mild disease. So protect vulnerable infants by vaccinating on time. Don't hesitate, vaccinate. So what should you know about whooping cough or pertussis? 1, infants under 12 months old are the most vulnerable population and will experience the most severe consequences of contracting whooping cough. 2, whooping cough is highly contagious and anyone can get it. Signs and symptoms of whooping cough. 1, persisting cough with or without fever that lasts longer than 2 weeks. Whooping cough again has that distinctive gasping sound that is a strong indicator of an infant's struggle to control their breathing. Risk factors of whooping cough. 4. Number 4, risk factors. Risk factors include those who are unvaccinated. That could be anyone, but specifically infants, again, experience the most severe illness. So receiving up-to-date vaccinations and booster shots for everyone through the tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccination is key in reducing the risk of spreading whooping cough. Number 5, it is recommended that all pregnant women, regardless of the last time they received a vaccination, receive the tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis vaccination during their third trimester of pregnancy.